This video is brought to you today by Ghost Tags. This is my own company that I started because I wanted a glow-in-the-dark AirTag case. These things are awesome. You can stick them on your backpack, on your dog's collar, and you will be able to find it at night. We've got two colors, blue and green. They've got great reviews. Go check them out. Links to them down below. Now on to the video. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Slim and you're watching Slimothy TV. This might be the most important iOS 18 video that you watch because today we're going to talk about a bunch of new features that you need to change immediately on iOS 18. So let's get right into this. Now, every year we do videos similar to this where we show you guys hidden features and tips and tricks that you need to change on your phone. This year with iOS 18, there are a ton of them. So let's get started with some of the smaller ones and work our way up. Trust me, there are some pretty crazy ones coming up in this video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now, the first thing you ought to do on iOS 18 is take a look at your home screen and see if you need these two buttons down here. Because if you don't, you can now remove them or change them to anything you want. So simply go ahead and edit your home screen here, click on lock screen. And from there, you can either hit the little minus button to delete that icon, hit done. And just like that, that icon is now gone. Looks way cleaner, by the way, without having that icon there. If I remove this one as well, it would look perfect. But the best part is you can actually change this to be whatever you want. So when you go in here, you can hit the plus button and there's a ton of different controls that you can scroll through and choose whatever you want. Maybe you want to quickly get to your cellular data or your personal hotspot if you use that a lot. You can now set that just like that, and boom, you have a quick access toggle straight to your personal hotspot. Next thing you have to do is go ahead and customize your home screen. So just go into wiggle mode, click customize, and just try out dark mode. It looks so much better. And if you don't like it tinting your wallpaper, you can just hit this little sun right here. A lot of people don't know this. Just click on that and it will lighten up the wallpaper in the background. So you can see that right there. And if you want to make your home screen even cleaner, just click on large and all of your app icons will become bigger. There'll be no more text under them and it looks a lot cleaner. Now, the third thing you need to do on iOS 18 here is to hide your apps. So let's say you have an application that you don't want everyone to know that you have, or you just want a little bit of extra privacy and security in case your phone ever got stolen. All you have to do is tap and hold on an application icon and click require Face ID. And right here, it's going to say require Face ID for Proton Mail or whatever application. You can either require Face ID to open it, or you can hide it and require Face ID. So if you hide it, it's going to go down here into your hidden app folder. You will not get alerts for it. You will not get anything. There will be no indication that it's on your phone. And to access this hidden folder, you actually do have to scan your face with Face ID. So no one can go snooping through your apps. All right, this next feature is pretty clutch for those of you that want to preserve your battery life. Simply go into settings, scroll down until you see battery, click on that. And once this loads up here, first of all, if you see this update finishing in the background, that's totally normal. That means you just updated to iOS 18. It's still doing some stuff in the background. It could be like that for a couple days. But the tip here is go into charging. Now from here, you can change the maximum limit that your phone charges to. This could be huge for those of you who are trying to prolong your battery life, either to resell your phone, or maybe you're just battery conscious. You can go ahead and switch this from 80 all the way to 100 in 5% increments. So if I wanted, I can set this charge limit to 80%. That means when I put my phone on the charger overnight, it's going to only go to 80%. It will never go to 100%. Now you notice when I did that, it turned off optimized battery charging. That's totally normal. That's the way it's supposed to be because optimized battery charging only works when you set it to 100. So when I try to set it back to 100, it says change charge limit. And it wants me to let the phone know, is this temporary until tomorrow? Or is this really what I want to do, set the limit to 100%? Of course I want to set to 100% because I personally don't have an issue just bringing the phone to Apple and getting the battery replaced every year before I give the phone to a friend or something. But anyways, I like to keep optimized battery charging on when it's set to 100%. That way, when I put the phone on the charger at night, it'll charge up to 80% and then 100% right before I wake up. I like to use the whole range of my battery. I paid the full price of the phone, so may as well use it. Now, just a side tip, I like to turn off clean energy charging because I like my phone to charge when I plug it in no matter what. All right, next up, you guys have to try out RCS. If you have any friends that have an Android phone, you're going to want to make sure you have RCS enabled on your phone so you can both have the cool new features within RCS. So what is RCS? Well, when you try to text someone with Android, I don't personally text anyone with Android, so I can't show you guys this, but right here, it will say, instead of iMessage, it'll say RCS. And that lets you know that the other person can receive RCS messages. Basically what this means is you can now send full quality photos or videos to that Android friend without it being compressed and looking terrible. You also get read receipts and typing indicators when they are typing, when you're typing. Of course, turn on or off the read receipts if you want. Now here's the trick on how to turn that on. So scroll down until you see apps. Once you see apps, click on that and scroll down until you see messages. Click on messages right here. And from here, just scroll down just a bit until you see RCS messaging. Click on that. And as you can see, mine is turned on. Make sure yours is too. It should be by default, but you know, during these updates, stuff happens. You want to make sure that that's turned on. Now, if for some reason you're not seeing that RCS setting, go ahead, open up settings and scroll down until you see general. and then click on About. Now I'm gonna have to blur most of this out, but right there you can see it says carrier. Click on that and it should say voice, SMS, and RCS. That's what you wanna see. If you're not seeing the RCS in that list, that means that your carrier is not enabled with Apple yet for RCS. All right, this next feature is super clutch. I've been using it since I had the beta of iOS 18. If you go into a conversation, you can now schedule text messages. So if I wanna say test, and I wanna send it to this person, the way to schedule this is to click this little plus button right here and click on send later. Now, if you're not seeing send later for some reason, click on this plus and then just scroll down and you should see it in this list. You can tap and hold and drag to reorder any of these. And you just wanna put send later up at the top because that's something you'll probably use pretty often. Just click on that and choose when you wanna send it up to 2 weeks in advance. So maybe you're trying to send someone a text, but it's like midnight and you want to just wait until 9 a.m. just so you don't wake up your friend. There you go, boom, just hit that. And you can see by that little outline, it is now scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m. And at the top, it does say send later. Up until 9 a.m., you can go ahead and edit. You can either edit the time, send the message, or delete the message if you want. So you don't have to send it once you hit schedule. All right, this next one, if you use iMessage a lot, you're gonna want to know about this feature. If you wanna add a little pizzazz to your text messages, all you have to do is when you type out your message, then go ahead and select the text that you wrote and click this little arrow right here and hit it one more time, and you will see text effects. And from here, you can choose any of these brand new effects and both parties will see it. You will see it and the person you're texting will see it as long as they're updated and on iOS 18. But let's go ahead and do big just for fun and we'll hit send. And just like that, boom, it goes big. And it will actually keep doing that over and over. These are just a cool way to kind of add a little bit of pizzazz to your text messaging. All right, now this next one is a little known feature of iOS 18. Apple actually went ahead and built an entire passwords application for you guys for free. You guys don't have to pay a monthly subscription for this. Just check your phone right now that you got iOS 18 and you should see an app called Passwords. If you're not using random passwords for all of your accounts and saving them in something like this, you're making a mistake because if you reuse passwords, it's only a matter of time until you get hacked. You don't want that to happen. I literally don't know any of my passwords to any of my accounts. It's all in a password manager. It's been like that for years, and that's how I like it. If you don't want to pay a monthly subscription for like 1Password or something, you can get Bitwarden, which is free, or you can just use this built-in password manager app from Apple. So if you're in the Apple ecosystem, this might be perfect for you. Now, if you click on Wi-Fi here and you go into one of your Wi-Fi passwords, you can also generate a QR code. So if someone comes over to your house, you can easily generate a QR code and just have them scan your phone and they will be able to hop on the Wi-Fi without you giving them the password. Super nice app. And it's free. Check it out. Apple went ahead and surprised us this year with a couple of different tweaks to the settings app. Now, one of the things they did was they completely revamped how the privacy and security page looks in here. It actually looks so much cleaner. I mean, look at that. But there's a couple things in here that we need to change immediately. The first thing here is we want to turn off tracking. If you go in here and this is toggled on, you want to turn this off right now. You do not want to allow apps to ask you to track. Just turn it off and they will not ask anymore. They will not be allowed to track you within Apple's guidelines, which is great. You don't want them tracking you. Now, while you're in here, you want to click on location services and you want to go through all of your different apps and change them to either never or while using. All right. This is crucial for your privacy. If you have an app that's tracking you 24/7, that's creepy and it will drain your battery a lot quicker. So you want to go through these. You just installed this new OS, iOS 18. Just do a clean sweep through these apps and go ahead and change them to either never or while using. It'll take about 2 minutes. Just go through them. You'll thank me later. Trust me. And then once you get through all those, scroll all the way down in that location services and click on system services. From here, you're going to want to take a look at how I have mine set up. And you might want to copy this. A lot of these are unnecessary, like cell network search. You don't need to be sending Apple your location for that. You're only doing that for analytics. Device management, obviously your device is not managed by a company, so turn that off. Apple Pay merchant identification, for the most part, useless. Networking and wireless, you don't need that. You can turn that off. Satellite connection, I have that on. Time zone on. Share my location on. I have suggestions and search turned on. I believe I turned that on for reminders so that I could say, hey, remind me to do whatever when I get to whatever. So if you need that, you can turn it on, otherwise turn it off. System customization is on and significant locations is on. The only reason I have significant locations turned on because it helps curate the memories in the Photos app a little bit better. Turn off all of these product improvement analytics right here, just turn those off and make sure the status bar icon's turned off down there. And that's pretty much all you need to do in this section. However, if you go back and you scroll all the way down here, you're gonna see something called analytics and improvements. This is another spot that you have to turn all these off. Turn off all of this analytics. You don't need to send that to Apple. That's creepy and it wastes your battery. Apple advertising, turn off personalized ads. There's no need for this. All it's going to do is Apple's going to target you with specific ads. It's creepy. They're just data mining on you and you don't need that. Now, while you're here, if you are a privacy conscious person, you might want to turn on the app privacy report. So I'll open up mine for you guys and you can see if you're just turning this on now, you're not going to see any data. You have to wait like a couple of days for it to gather data. But I've had mine on forever at this point. I can see that the Messages app used my contacts, photos, and 3 other things. So if I click on it, I can see what it was doing. 3 hours ago, it was using my microphone, location, and photos. Now that makes sense because I made a phone call from iMessage while I was at the grocery store, but it's also using my contacts constantly. That's normal. I mean, that's what you want. But you can go through these and see which apps are using the most resources, what's going on. So yeah, the app privacy report is actually clutch. You guys want to enable that in case you ever need to go back. Apple Intelligence Report, you can turn this on or off if you have iOS 18.1. Most of you watching this don't have this. Personally, keep it turned off. The last thing on this page that you guys need to turn on is stolen device protection. You need to turn this on immediately. If your phone is ever stolen, it will make it much harder for thieves to be able to get in your phone. And I personally have mine set to always because I want the maximum protection on my phone. All right, so let's just back out of settings here just to refresh for a second. So we're in the main page of settings. Let's scroll down back into privacy and security. Now in iOS 18, Apple made an enormous change to contacts. So I'm gonna click on that right now. Now from here, you can choose which apps have full access, no access, or limited access to your contacts. And you know, sometimes you get an app like Telegram or Signal and it's like, hey, let us have access to your contact list. First of all, I always say no, except in the case of Fantastical apparently. But a lot of people just say yes. They give all of their contacts over to these applications and who knows what they're doing with it. They could just harvest all of your contacts, store it in a server somewhere. That's creepy. Now you can change that. So if I go ahead and I click on Discord, I can choose limited access and it will allow me to select which contacts I want Discord to have access to. So I don't have to give them all 200 of my contacts. I can just do a few of them right here. This is a huge new change. You need to go through every one of your apps just for privacy's sake and change this. Make sure that it's either set to none or limited access. Now, if you go back just one and you scroll down just a tiny bit until you see photos, right here, this is something that you're going to want to change while you're in here. Now you're going to want to go through these apps and change these to either no access or limited access. You don't really want all of these different apps having access to your full camera library, do you? Some of these apps technically could upload these photos in the background if you give them full access. So I've changed a lot of mine to just limited, and you can see I still have some work to do here, but you can limit the access of all of these, and that way you can hand pick which photos you want to allow the app to see. So even if they're harvesting it, you are gonna share it on their platform anyway, so who cares, right? But you just don't want them having full access to all of your photos at all times. That is creepy as heck. All right, let's get into some customization features here. So in iOS 18, you can now customize your control center to however you want. So if you open it up and you hit this little plus icon at the top, you will go into not wiggle mode, but edit mode. And from here, you can change all of these different pages. So if you just want it to be like the old school way with just one page, you can do that. You can just say, okay, I don't need you, and boom, I don't need you. And just like that, you now have just one page for your control center. Me personally, that's kind of how I like mine right now. But if you want more pages, you can go ahead and add more at any time. You can add a control right here, and you can add any of these default ones. There's tons of them. I'm not going to scroll through all of them. Or you can make your own shortcuts and add them right here as little toggles. Super customizable. You can move these around. You can make them bigger, do whatever you want, but make this how you want it, because there's no point in using your phone if it's just the way that Apple wanted it, but it's not the way that works for you. So customize this and make it just for you. You will get so much more enjoyment out of your phone that way. All right, guys, this next feature is pretty crazy. Apple went ahead and put a game mode on every single person's iPhone running iOS 18. Yes, you heard me right. There is a game mode. So if you open up any game on your phone, you are going to now see at the top, after it signs into Game Center here, it's going to say game mode on. Just like that, game mode is on. You don't have to do anything. It just turns on automatically. What this does is it increases the Bluetooth polling rate. So if you're using a controller or earbuds, you're going to get faster response times. It also reduces background stuff. So if your phone was doing background processes, it's going to put those on pause while you're playing the game. And as soon as you close the app, it goes right back to normal. So that is a clutch new feature that I think a lot of people are going to overlook until they need it. Because when you're playing a game, you want everything to be as fast as it can be for that game. All right, if you're enjoying this video so far, guys, please hit it with a big thumbs up, like the video, subscribe. It really helps. And share this video with your friends so that they can get the most out of iOS 18, because this update is huge and there's a ton of cool new features. Like the next one I'm going to show you guys. If you get car sick a lot, you're going to want to look into vehicle motion cues. Now I have mine set in the control center right here. So I just click on that and I can just turn it on like this. And just like that, I have the vehicle motion cues right there. I don't know if you guys can see them moving, but if you were in a car, your phone can know your direction and it can move these little dots around the screen to take some of the fatigue off of your eyes so that your brain doesn't make you feel nauseated when you're in the car. So this apparently works. I don't get car sick, so I can't test it for myself, but I've heard from other people that this actually does work. If you're on a long road trip going somewhere and you just want to scroll on your phone because you're bored, go ahead, turn this on and see if it helps. And it also helps if you have a nice little toggle for it right here, which you can add, of course, with that customized control center, which I just showed you 2 minutes ago. All right, this next new feature is crazy. If you go into your settings app and just search up music haptics, it will bring you to this right here under accessibility. If you turn that on, and just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna hit play sample. It is now vibrating my phone with the haptic engine to the beat of the song. It is really weird sensation. I'm assuming this is probably for people with hearing issues or sensory issues, but I think some people are just gonna like this, just straight up, because it is pretty cool. So you can see right here, it says music haptics, and if I click on it, it says paused. So I don't have to use it all the time, but there you go. You can now use music haptics where it kind of vibrates your phone to the beat of the music. Very cool feature. All right, so by this point, you've probably already seen a couple other YouTubers showing you how you can remove advertisements on your phone with a new feature called hide distracting items. So if you click on that, you can go ahead and remove little things on the screen. So you can see right here, it does not permanently remove ads and other content that update frequently. If it's a dynamic advertisement, it's going to come back. So let's see, maybe there's something that I don't want to see on this page. Maybe it's just this menu button up here. So I can go ahead and I can just hide that, all of it, boom, it's gone. So now I don't have to worry about that. And now I can scroll the page as usual. I can even refresh the page and it will stay gone. Now, if that was an advertisement that dynamically updates, it's not gonna fix it. But if you notice, I don't see any ads. And you wanna know why? Because I use an ad blocker in Safari and on my DNS. Now, I'm gonna be doing a fully updated video on how to block all ads on the iPhone. It's crucial that you do this because some advertisements can bog down your phone. They can have all kinds of issues. I have an older video that I'll link down below, but I'm gonna make a new one in the next week or so. So stay tuned to the channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'm gonna teach you guys the best ways to keep all the ads off your phone, because sometimes those ads can have viruses in them. You just don't wanna mess with them. You don't wanna see any ads on your phone. I'll teach you guys how to do it. And trust me, it's actually very easy and it can be done for free. All right, now while ads can be scary because of the privacy implications, another thing that you might want to consider changing in iOS 18, brand new feature by the way, head into settings and go ahead and click on your Wi-Fi. Then once you're on this page, click on the little I next to your Wi-Fi address. And in here, you're gonna see private Wi-Fi address, and it's gonna say probably rotating. Click on that. And from there, you can switch it to either off or fixed. Now, I personally recommend always keeping it either to rotating or fixed. I keep mine on rotating now because what this does is it rotates your MAC address so that it's a lot harder for networks to track you. Because your MAC address never changes technically the physical address, but if you rotate it, it will simulate it to these networks so that it looks like you're a different phone. Fixed just kind of changes it so that it's not your normal MAC address, it's a different one. But rotating makes it change it out all the time. Keep it on rotating on pretty much all of your networks and you should be good. All right, for those of you that use HomeKit, you're gonna wanna listen up here. In the Home app now, if you hit the 3 dots in the top and you hit Home Settings, you scroll down until you see Home Hubs, click on that, and you will now see an option to turn off automatic selection. I kept having issues where, I know this is a first world problem, but due to the size of my house, the family room Apple TV was too far away from some of the stuff on the other side of the house for it to work. I decided to put a HomePod in my office, which is kind of in the middle of the house, and that has solved pretty much all of my issues now. So if you ever have HomeKit issues with devices dropping out all the time, turn off automatic selection and you can set your hub to be whatever you want. So you could put a HomePod very central in your house, and just like that, that could be the home hub where all the devices transmit through. And I haven't had an issue since. So turn off automatic selection and select the one that you want. You might have to come in here a couple times, it's a little glitchy, but mine's stuck on Office HomePod Mini and I have not been looking back. This has been awesome, so check this out. This is a little known tip, but it could really save your entire HomeKit setup. To be honest, I haven't heard many other YouTubers talking about that. That's a huge feature. All right, next up, open up the Maps app on your phone. I've got Mount Rainier loaded up right here. I'm gonna scroll down just a bit here until I see hikes. I'm gonna click on a random hike here, and the awesome new feature is that you can now add this to your library. What this is going to do is it's going to download the entire hiking route straight to your phone, just like that, and you are good to go. If you don't have network access while you're up hiking this, no problem. You've got all the data downloaded to your phone and available at any time. Now the next feature, if you go into your offline maps, you can go ahead and turn on sync with Apple Watch. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna automatically transfer all of the downloaded maps from my phone to my watch so I have them in both places. That way I can start a hike, put my phone away, and just use my watch in order to see where I'm going, what's next, my elevation, and the trail path, just like that. Super convenient. Make sure that this is turned on if you have an Apple Watch. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about the action button because many of you are now either getting a 15 Pro or you're getting one of the 16 series with the action button. Now, I have mine set to the flashlight. I use it every day. It is amazing. I love having it there. So much easier to get to than fumbling around on the home screen. This is the way to go. However, if you don't like to use the flashlight for whatever reason, there's a ton more things you can do with the action button. If I go ahead and hit on action button here, yeah, I've got mine set to flashlight, but if I scroll over, there's some new ones here. So first of all, recognize music. If you are always in public and you're like, what is that song? But you don't want to ask Siri, set your action button to just do this. You don't have to be like, hey, blank, what's this song? You don't have to say that in public. That's embarrassing. You can just press this button. It'll tell you the song and you can move on with your life. If you're abroad a lot, you're going to want to use the translate feature, but there's a new one called controls. You can quickly access your favorite controls right there. And of course you can set your own shortcut. So I just wanted to show you guys the different options here. Me personally, I'm keeping mine on flashlight, but you guys can go ahead and change those at your heart's content. Now, while we're in settings, scroll down and click on general. Scroll down until you see keyboard. And from here, you can click on keyboards at the top, click on your English language or whatever your main language is, and click on add language. Now, there's not that many languages added yet, just these ones, but there's some pretty popular ones. You got Spanish right here. So I can set Spanish. Now, what that's going to do is now when I'm typing to someone, it's going to give me suggestions in English and or in Spanish. So I can type on the fly and switch between the two languages. So this is obviously very useful for those of us that speak two languages. You can now see down here, it will say EN and ES, letting you know that you've got both going on the keyboard. So it's not going to autocorrect you as much in the other language when it thinks you should be speaking English, but you're actually speaking Spanish. So this will make texting so much easier for you. Definitely do this if you speak two languages. All right, this next one's kind of weird in iOS 18. If you're ever in a conversation and this blinking cursor bothers you for some reason, you can actually turn that off now. I don't know why Apple did this, but in settings, if you are here, you scroll down to accessibility and then click on motion right here at the top, scroll down and you will see prefer non-blinking cursor. If you turn this on, now when you are in iMessage, it's not gonna blink, it's just gonna be solid. Kind of weird to me, but I guess if it bothers you, you can change that. I'm obviously going to keep it blinking because otherwise it just looks like my phone stalled out. But if we scroll down just a little more, there's a couple new things that I want to show you as well. If you go into Siri here, you can scroll down and you can change require Siri for interruptions. Now, if you turn this on, you're going to have to say, hey, blank or blank to interrupt Siri. Otherwise, you know how sometimes when Siri's giving you a bunch of information and you accidentally say something else and she stops, that can be kind of annoying. And if that happens to you a lot, turn this on and it should stop. We also have an option here, listen for atypical speech. That's new. So if you talk a little bit slower or you just speak differently than most people, maybe you have some sort of speech impediment, you can turn that on. If Siri usually has a hard time, understanding you, this could help. So maybe try that. All right, this next one has to be one of the most requested features from people that use their camera a lot. When you're in settings here, go ahead and click on camera. So from here, you're going to click on record sound and you're going to turn on allow audio playback. Now this way, your iPhone will not automatically pause your music when you go to record a video. So if that ever bothers you, just turn this on and you'll be set. Now, speaking of videos, if you are now recording a video, you can pause it. So just like that, boom, pause, and maybe we want to start it up again. Just click it again and boom, you now have one video, but you had a pause in there. I don't know why it took Apple so long to implement this feature, but I've been waiting for this. I'm so glad they did it. It's going to be great for content creators who use their phone. Like if I was recording this on an iPhone, which I'm not, but if I was, having the ability to pause on the fly is super clutch. So that is a great feature. So those are the first settings to go ahead and change on iOS 18. Go do these now. Let me know what you thought of the video. If you liked it, hit it with a big thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next one. A lot more coming, so keep it locked to the channel. Peace.